What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode here for Scale Sports. This one, we are breaking down Game 7, the NBA Finals, Oklahoma City Thunder. You see it on the screen, bringing it home. OKC 103, Indiana 91. The Oklahoma City Thunder win the 2025 NBA championship. This is my first championship of any team that I have paid attention to in my adult years that won. So it's a little bit more emotional for me than usual. Really, really proud to see this team come together, grow, and win in a big way on one of the biggest stages that's out there, the NBA Finals. Not only the NBA Finals, but Game 7. So welcome back. We're going to take a look at the box score right quick. So ultimately, before we get into anything with Game 7, because we got a lot to unpack that we're going to talk about in this specific section here. So first off, top it off, congratulations to the entire Oklahoma City Thunder staff, organization, players, Clay, Sam, SGA, J-Dub, Chet, iHeart, Caruso, Kaysen, Jalen Williams. I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. Dort. I don't know how I forgot Lou Dort. He's one of the reasons we're here with his great defense, and we're gonna talk about that because a lot of people got some stuff to say about the Thunder. We're gonna address a lot on this exact stream. So we're gonna get into the box score right quick. So, like I said, first thing, Oklahoma City brings the championship home. First one in Oklahoma City franchise history, not including the Seattle Supersonics. 103-91, Oklahoma City wins against the Indiana Pacers in a Game 7 series. Your leading scorer for the entire game, SGA MVP, 29 points. He had one turnover with 12 assists and 5 rebounds to lock in his most valuable player for the NBA Finals. He is the first player. He is the first player in 25 years to, in the same season, get the scoring title, the Finals MVP, become an NBA champion, and win the regular season MVP, which I also think that would means he's the first player to win all four of those accolades and also become the Western Conference Finals MVP. So he has won pretty much everything you can win inside of one season. I believe that he had one of the greatest seasons that ever existed in NBA history, but we'll get more to that because we're going to talk about the game. Let's keep it in the moment. Looking at the box score, a little bit of what we expected from everything. I told I told Twitter the other day, I was like, I think Chet's gonna have a double double. Don't exactly know how it's gonna look. I think it's gonna be like 15 and 11, 17 and 10, something like that. Almost got close, 18 and 8, um, 5 blocks, which I know a lot of people think Chet's a little small and he's not, but Chet is lengthy. So 5 blocks were really key, especially coming down the stretch. It looked like we were about to almost give this game away as we got down to the stretch, but Chet made some pretty good defensive blocks down the stretch as well. Jalen Williams, he made a very clutch 3-pointer that put us up 68-90, which I think that was when the moment I knew the game was I knew the game was over for us and we were going to take it home. I did get a little bit nervous down the stretch of this game because what I was starting to notice is it felt like Matherin was getting to the paint, taking us and just attacking and getting a lot of calls. He was getting a lot of finishes at the rim, and it felt like they were going to make a massive comeback after having a massive third quarter for us. But it didn't happen. We were fine. We rallied together. SGA, he just emptied the clip. 29 points on 8 for 27 shooting. To be honest, it didn't look. Maybe I wasn't paying attention as much, but it didn't look like he shot the ball a lot last night. Maybe it didn't feel like he shot 27 shots last night. That's kind of how I feel about it. He was 2 for 12 from three, so he got it done, but this wasn't in the fashion I would prefer. 11 for 12 from free throws. I mean, you got to think about it. He had 11 points from free throws, so that means he only had 18 points on the floor. So I mean, he had a couple clutch threes for us down the stretch, but ultimately got the game won. Caruso and Kaysen both with 10 points. I did mention that Caruso would have to be one that gives us at least double-digit scoring for us to have a shot. And obviously, we just had a good overall round of basketball. We got into that dangerous run that we normally get to. A 9-0 run turned into a 19-2 run into that third quarter, which gave us the separation and the distance that we had been looking for all night. Which gets into the, the hardest part about yesterday was, um, you know, competition is competition, winning is winning, and you don't want to win. You want to win the right way. And I know some people are talking about, the foul merchant thing and, the foul calls and all those things like that. That's not what I'm talking about. Um, Prayers to Tyrese Haliburton. Um, Prayers to his entire family. And prayers for a great recovery because, you know, Thunder aside, I'm gonna take my fandom out of this for a second. That was one of the best playoff runs that I had ever seen by a player. Um, where he had an impact in every series that you couldn't ignore. He had the Cavaliers come back where I think he had his hand all down, Uh big moment. Then the Knicks, then the Knicks is one of the biggest shots ever. Um Down, was it down 20 or down 15? And just coming back and making that shot, and yeah, it hit off the rim, but just that little bit of hesitation before it dropped on down caused so much like chaos. And then when it went in, it was like some people missed what happened and turned away from the screen, not even realizing that it went in. That was just excellent. Game one against the Thunder. Uh Right side wing. I think Kaysen was defending him and ran up the court, no timeouts, just knew what he was going to do and got to his spot and hit it with no hesitation whatsoever. I mean, I'll be honest, and I think a lot of people need to be a lot more honest about what the situation was as a Thunder fan yesterday. And again, we did win the championship. We got the ring. 24 hours it went by. There's no more calls to be made, no more shots to be taken. That's the end of the season, and the Thunder got on the right side of it. But I can't ignore this. I can't ignore it. That was the most impactful 7 minutes that a player could could ever have. I mean, he shot the threes that he made were just gut punches. And I have a feeling that if he was in this entire game, it would have been closer. And as they started to come down the stretch and start making some of those comebacks, and TJ McConnell got it within four, and Matthew started getting some of those threes even after some of those plays in the hole when he started getting on that run. You kind of had this feeling that if Haliburton was there and they were down 10 with 4 minutes to go, the game wasn't completely over yet. And I think he would have rushed up the court and caused some real issues for our team. But within that 7 minutes, he put the entire NBA and the Oklahoma City Thunder on notice that I'm gonna be here. I'm here tonight. I'm here. Y'all gonna respect what it is that I'm doing. I'm here. And the way he was shooting those threes and the way that he was coming down the court saying, like, yo, he was talking, he was getting in his bag. It looked like he was going to have, in my opinion, another like a 40 to 45 point game, like a complete stamp on everything that he needed to do to really cement himself as a superstar and he would and not be an overrated player in this entire league. And I think he carried that through his entire time. Should he have played on the calf strain or not? That's to be determined by, he obviously felt like he made the right choice with that. I believe he made the correct choice with that also. Um, but man, I did not want to win that way. I'll be honest, I did not want to win that way. When he went down, I shouted at the TV and I said, "No." I actually probably had a little bit more expletive than that. I was loudly against it. I screamed because what ended up happening with that injury is where I'm going to take this stream, this post, this show next after I go through everything for the Pacer side of it, because there were some bright spots that I have to talk about on the Pacer side. Siakam was 16 points, only 4 rebounds. Wasn't as effective as he probably wanted to be, but he had to carry a big load after Haliburton's injury. You also have TJ McConnell. Look, I screamed at the TV when Haliburton got injured. And I screamed again every single time TJ McConnell got to the hole, hit a mid range, hit a layup, hit a big shot. I mean, he was 61% from the field. 61% on 13 shots. Like, it was incredible how fast and twitchy he was moving on the defense, how fast and twitchy he was moving on the offensive end. Yeah, he had 7 turnovers because we started to put some pressure on the defense on him, but in a big moment like that, if you the backup, that's not a bad way to replace it. And then Benedict Mathurin, 24 points, 13 rebounds, a double-double. I think the only one of the game. He came to play that night. And 29 and 12 for Shea. So the only one for the Pacers. Mathurin and McConnell almost got this game back to a point where I was worried because everything started to flow through my head. They already said we didn't get out of Memphis clean because Ja got hurt. They already said we didn't get out of Denver because Aaron Gordon was hurt. They already said we didn't get out of we got out of playing Golden State because Steph got hurt. And the Rockets would have gotten dealt with, even quicker and sooner if it wasn't for that series. Minnesota is the only series that I can look at and say there wasn't anything you could say there other than the third game blowout, or sorry, the game 3 blowout, but we still wanted it home in 5. So that's the only thing you can't say. I guess people are saying, oh, well, Steph got injured, so if Steph made it past the Rockets, he would have beat Minnesota, then you would have had to play Steph in round 2. Couple things could have happened there, but who knows, right? I mean, they had a case for that. I think Butler, Steph, and Draymond still was a good team, and they had a couple pieces, but hey, injuries are a part of the game. All said, I I did not want Haliburton to go down because if we lose, if we win, if we win, we we don't get the if we win, we don't get the benefit of we actually won the chip. There's going to be people and fans that put asterisks all over the championship saying, well, you didn't beat Steph, you didn't beat a healthy Nuggets team, you beat Ja when he got injured, and the only reason you came back down 29 is because Ja was hurt, and the only reason you won the NBA championship is because Haliburton was hurt. I get all that, but let me offer a counterpoint to what I was thinking last night. We went into halftime with the Pacers up 1.48 to 47. We lost a lot of our offensive identity down the stretch in that second quarter and down the stretch in that fourth quarter. We gave them an opportunity to come back. We were up 20 to 21 where it felt like the game was over. And it got down to a point where if they really had a run or had Haliburton as a special player, they could have came back. But they were without Haliburton. But at that second half, Haliburton's gone and they're still up one. So my mind went to this: if the Thunder, that were the number one team all season long, if they end up losing to a Halliburton-less Pacers team by any stretch, you think getting clowned as an NBA champion was bad, at least you got the chip. You losing to a Pacers team without Halliburton would have been the most disastrous outcome and potentially franchise altering decisions would have been made because of it. Luckily, it didn't happen, but it almost did. So, if I had to pick the lesser of two evils, then I'm going to say we won the championship. We didn't have to worry about losing without Halliburton there. So as we're looking at it here, I went to X, Twitter, and Tyrese Haliburton had a pretty long, lengthy post. If you hadn't got a chance to look at it, this just came out about 2 hours ago. As of the time of this recording, so he did confirm that he did have a torn Achilles. Um, and he pretty much is just talking through the shock of it all, right? Um, I I never saw an injury like that before. And this year we saw Dame who kind of just sat there. His teammates didn't help him, which I kind of felt a little weird. I felt bad for Dame at that moment because it kind of felt like nobody was really there for him. And he came back off of blood clots and probably came back a little bit sooner than he wanted to or needed to. But hey, it's the NBA. It's the NBA championship. It's the NBA playoffs. We got to fight our way through, right? Same thing with Tatum and his Achilles injury. Like, you never want to see those kind of things. But for a game 7, when you are cooking, I mean, 3 for 4, 7 minutes off the gate, like one of the best starts you could have. You're pacing a 40-point game with 9 points in the first. You're going. And for it to go like that and have the passion that he has, screaming on the floor and saying no, he already knew and felt what happened. And, you know, uh, it sucked. Um, Goes on to say he got surgery. Foot says it feels like it's dead weight. I can only imagine what that would feel like because that is the epitome of being so close to something that you wanted. And I feel for it. I feel for the Pacers fans. I feel for the Indy fans. And I feel for the league because in some capacity it does feel as though we all in some capacity got cheated out of a very a good game. We all got cheated out of a really a potentially great finals ending with Halliburton either making a shot or missing it, but just him being on the floor would have made a difference and would have brought the competition out. And as a fan, as a Thunder fan, I I am on record saying I'll be on record saying two things. Number one, the first thing I'm going to be on record is I believe that we might have lost that game if Haliburton was playing because he was about to go on a monumental run. He was about to drop a 35 to 40 piece on us. And I truly 100% believe that that was going to happen. Nothing about it is going to stop me from believing that. I think, too, that just as important as the Haliburton injury. Well, no, that's it. We would have lost that game and lost the finals if Haliburton was there because of how he was playing and what he was doing to impact the floor. And I don't think a lot of Thunder fans will be honest about that. If McConnell was playing like he was playing with Haliburton out there and Mathurin was still getting some of those buckets at the hole, they were hitting us. They were hitting us and they were giving us everything we got. And the second thing to be honest about, I'm worried about a repeat. And it's not because the last 7 teams, I think since 2019 or maybe since 2018. There's been a different winner every no, so yeah, the Raptors, the Lakers, the Bucks, the Warriors, the Nuggets, the Celtics, and now the Thunder. So we have had a different champion every year, and I don't know if it's set for us to repeat or not. But what I will say is the way we played through some of that game last night, there were moments and stretches where I even felt and said, I don't know if this team wants to be here. I don't know if they really want it like that. I mean, they're there, they're active, they're playing, they're going through the motions, but something about me just kind of feel like I'm asking, like, yo, do y'all really want it like that? Do y'all really want it like that? And ultimately, I don't think that they wanted it. They got it, but I think there were moments where they had to like dig a little bit deeper and ask if they really wanted it for themselves to move forward. And I'm fearful of that going into next year. Now, obviously, we got Nikola coming in here, which I believe is going to be a game changer for us. We still have 2 draft picks coming up in the first round this year. So we are going to make some roster moves that are going to make us better, clearly. But that did worry me that we had a little bit of complacency in the middle of that game. And you saw it happening in the third quarter where TJ McConnell was just getting to the hole, hitting mid range, getting to the hole, hitting mid range, and got within 4 after we started to break away a little bit. And I was waiting for that run to come, and it almost never did, but it came in at the right time for us to lock it down. I shared the Haliburton post. The only other thing that I have not got a chance to share. So I just want to thank Thunder Twitter for coming to my aid on some of the on coming to my defense because a tweet came out today. Now, for those of you that were like that are Thunder fans and just wanted to get a sobering analysis of the reaction side of things, good. You can cut it off here. We're fine. The analysis portion is complete. Just to make sure I top off and cut it off here. This is typically what I do for the analysis portion of it. Oklahoma City wins 103-91. Leading scorer Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, 29 points, 12 assists, 1 turnover. Leading scorer for the entire team in the entire game. Mathurin, 24 points, 13 rebounds. Both SGA and Mathurin with double digits. OKC wins the first championship in their entire franchise history. SJ walks her out with, I want to call it the triple crown, but I don't even know if that's a thing. Scoring title, Finals MVP, NBA champion, League MVP, Western Conference Finals MVP. There'll be another video we're talking about. He is now the greatest Canadian player ever the greatest player ever born out of Canada. There we go. But put a button into that. Oklahoma City wins championship, lockdown, parade is on Tuesday. Now, let's get into some entertainment because this here Pissed me off. So, Thunder won 84 games, had the league MVP, won the finals all-time season. This is from Real C Griff, at Real C Griff. And they can't think of a single iconic moment, not many highlight plays, not an appealing style of hoops. Feels so weird seeing them as champs, even though they were historically great. Now, I posted this as a response. And I want to say thank you to anybody that came to my defense here, because I think this is my most viewed and most liked post to date. But here were the moments that I talked about during this entire playoff run. This is just the postseason. There was other stuff throughout the course of the season, but we had a 51-point win over Memphis. That was the largest playoff victory by a team ever in NBA history. I don't know what other iconic moment you're looking for, but it was there. Jalen scored 40 points at age 23 in the NBA Finals. I think the graphic said Magic and Jordan might have been the only two to do that. Pretty good company to keep. People were posting, oh my God, Lou Dort making a three-pointer has to be the most disheartening thing to ever come across a basketball screen. Well, guess what? It happened last night where we were down 40. I want to say we went up 48-54 or something like that, where like he shot a three from the tip of the logo for like 32 feet out, hit the rainbow, was up in the air for 3 seconds and came down and went straight into the net. That is a play that is going to be replayed in people's minds for a long time, because I saw people look at it and said, oh my God, if that went in, they're going to end up winning the game. 29-point Memphis comeback. Look, I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn who it is. I don't care if it's Ja Morant. I don't care if it's Kevin Durant. If somebody goes down and your team is up 30 points, if somebody goes down and your team is up by 30 points at any point in the game, and I believe it was the third quarter, you had a quarter and a half with a 29-point game that you were ahead of. How is that not an iconic moment? That's the largest comeback in NBA history for the playoffs. So we've had two iconic moments, a 29-point comeback in game 3 against Memphis and a 51-point win in Memphis game 1 and game 3. We had two moments in the same series that people should have looked at and said, damn, this team might actually be dangerous. And if that's not really enough, you had two game 7 wins at home in this playoff. 16 wins, 7 losses. None in the first round, 3 in the second, one in the conference finals, 3 in the finals. 16-7. In the semifinals and the finals, we went down 2-1 on the opponent's floor. Now, the more iconic one for that one is Shea smiling down 2-1 against the Nuggets. You can look at the rest of these here on the bottom, and I'm still going to go through it because I'm defending my post. You can still go through some of these on the bottom right here, but you have to at least give me the Shea smile. That is the most, I'm going to pull it up in just a moment. That is the most iconic thing I've seen in a while, and here it is for those of you that haven't seen it. It's right there when you type in SGA smile or Shea smile. This is the face of a guy that is unbothered after game 3 that he has a potential to lose this series. This was not a series I thought we were going to win. I did not think we were going to beat Denver. And it got really tense in game 5, whatever game it was 92-87, and we won. It was a really gritty, like 3 to 5 point win. It was a gritty 5-point win. Whatever game that was, it was 92-87. I was extremely nervous, and it might have been game 4. I think it was game 4. You had 2 game 7 wins and comebacks down in the series. Now, the rest of this is reaching. Jalen did have some fast break dunks that I think were pretty iconic, just coming off of a turnover because it led to like a significant run or something like that. Wiggins, it was a big deal for him to score 18 points in game 2 against the not against Denver, against the Pacers. That was a pretty big deal for us for game 2 for Thunder fans because we like Aaron Wiggins, right? He saves basketball. And then the one that people were like, what the hell are you talking about? Caruso plus minus 40, bro. That was the one that made me the maddest because if any of these happen, and I'm talking to y'all casual fans, I'm talking to you. So listen up, I'm talking to you. This is the stuff I can't stand with casual fans. If you're a fan of LeBron, KD, or Steph, this is the stuff I can't stand. SGA, SGA did all of this stuff. Oklahoma City did all of this that I just mentioned. If Austin Reeves went for 18 in a game, y'all would glaze it if they won. Y'all would have a great time with it. Or Hachimura, whoever it is that's on the Lakers. If Pods on the Warriors had an 18-point game, y'all would glaze over it. Y'all would love it and appreciate it, right? Let LeBron have a plus minus 40. Let LeBron have a plus 40 on his defensive rating in a clutch game. Let that happen in a blowout. Oh, we told you he's the GOAT. We told you he's the best ever. We told you it was gonna happen. Oh my God, did you see it? He was such a great defender. Jordan could never defend like LeBron could. Jordan never had a plus minus 4. So then what I explained on the bottom of the post here is, look, what y'all are looking for is not who Oklahoma City is. Y'all are looking for a game winner or something of that nature. That's not Oklahoma City basketball. It hasn't been all season. If you look at the history of all of our games, there was never a game we either won by 10 or more, or we won or lost close. And most of the time we lost, it was because the game was close and it wasn't a blowout. So, what are y'all looking for? What are y'all actually looking for here? Did we have any game winners? No, because the games weren't close. Did we have any iconic moments throughout the season in terms of a big block shot to end the game, or in terms of a game winner to seal it? No, not really. And I'm just going to go through some of the losses that I can recall pretty quickly. We can go postseason. We lost to Indiana 1 point. Lost to Indiana 1 point. Game winner by Haliburton. Okay. Lost to Indiana, we lost by 9, and then we lost as a blowout, right? We lost a blowout in Memphis. It was like 42 points. Okay. The first loss in Denver, we lost on an Aaron Gordon shot. Close, right? There's not a lot of games that you're gonna look at and say, oh, they won. Denver again, 124-122 in November, 2-point loss. Dallas 121-119, 2-point loss. Houston 119-116, 3-point loss. Most of the losses we had are 5 or less, and some of the wins we had were close, but for the most part, our point differential in wins, as I'm scrolling through them now just to make sure I'm not making any mistakes, the only one I'm seeing here that's close was Boston 118-112. Everything else was a wide margin, and the Clippers 103-101. So we either lose close or get blown out or we win by 10 or more. And that's what we did 84 times over for the, well, not 84, but that's what we almost did 84 times for the most part. So guess what? Thank you for the attention. We're the 2025 champs. Hate it or love it. We're on top. Deal with it. But it's so funny scrolling through these. Um, I cited plus minus as an iconic moment. It was. ESPN was glazing it and saying it was one of the best defensive performances by a player in the last decade. Fine. Shea Smile got it. I thought this was hilarious. Um, Somebody called me an all-time Glazer. You're the GOAT. I said fan Glazer GOAT champion. And he respond fan Glazer throat champion. That was hilarious. Matt got bars. That was pretty funny. Um, and then it goes to everything else that ended up being on Twitter for me today, which I don't even know if I have the time to go through that. But some of the discourse today got so annoying that people were really going through this and saying they should have never won the championship. This ring didn't mean anything, and just going across to devalue the championship. Everybody except for Oklahoma City Thunder fans. I understand Denver fans being upset. I understand Minnesota fans being upset. I understand Memphis fans and Pacers fans because we played those series. Why are the Celtics in the chat? You lost to the Knicks, and it didn't have to do with Tatum's injury either. Why are you in here? Then, when did the Cavs appear? There's Cavs fans that there's Cavs fans coming in and saying, "Oh, they shouldn't have won. Oh, it's foul baiting." It's Do you all realize that in the 90s, the defense that the Thunder were playing would be comparable to the defense that was being played in the 90s in terms of physicality? I'm not saying that defensively they're going to be able to stop any team in the 90s. I'm just saying the physicality of what they were doing this season is what has been acceptable in the past before. So why are we having such an issue with the things that y'all have celebrated in the past? I'm not talking to the casuals anymore. I'm talking about people that actually watch hoops. Because when James Harden won MVP, I didn't hear anybody complaining about him swinging arms and getting to the line. What I did hear was, "Hey, James Harden." What I am hearing is SGA is a foul merchant. I'm hearing SGA is a foul merchant. This year, I think he had the night he was either in the top 15 or the top 20, but I don't think he was in the top 5. He wasn't number 1. I know that for sure. He was not number 1 in free throw attempts this season. I want to look it up and say he was number like 10 or um number 10 or number 15. But guess what? I do know this. James Harden, his MVP season, he was number 1. Number 1. So let me look at this right quick. Most free throw attempts this season, 707, which was Giannis. 707. So he didn't even lead the league in free throw attempts, but he's a free throw merchant. And he actually was he was short about almost 35 from number 1. Harden was number 1 in attempts the year he won MVP, and everybody knew what he was going to do when he got that little circle arm thing where he hooked the arm and went up for a shot and ended up having more free throw attempts. No one said anything about James Harden that year, and that's because he didn't win the championship. If he did, I wonder if everything would change. Looking back on Kobe had a couple moments where he was drawing fouls. And I know a lot of people not going to like this as I start to move into the next topic. People say that Kobe was the closest thing to Jordan. And now I'm starting to look. SGA's game is looking very similar to Kobe Bryant. The step back mid range, the 3-point shots, the ability to attack the basket, the reading of the court, being the savant, being the best player on the court at all times, just reading how the defense is reacting, getting to the paint, scoring. And I don't want to hear it. Oh, yeah, well, you know what? SGA emptied the clip. He was 8 for 27. Kobe in his last game was 24 for 50 for 60 points. I'm just saying. That man was shooting too. We'll get into that later. Because the last thing I'm going to leave you guys is this. This guy, as I'm looking at it, is probably going to be considered and should be considered the greatest Canadian player to ever play the game. He is going to be considered the greatest player born in Canada because I looked it up, and I'll look it up with y'all here so y'all can see it. So, the best player so far that I remember that won an NBA championship was Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins, and those were the only two names that I remember. I believe it was, I think it was, and then Dort's part of that list too now. I believe it was a few people on that list, and that was two of them. And here it is right here. That's what I was looking for. So this was the post I saw earlier. There we go. So we have SGA, Lou Dort, Jamal Murray, Andrew Wiggins, Tristan Thompson, Chris Boucher, Joel Anthony, Rick Fox, and a couple of the names I'm not 100% sure of. These are the only ones that have won the actual NBA championship. Now, with that said, Steve Nash is a two-time MVP. I believe a 9. Man, this is really great entertainment right here. Should have all these things lined up. Nash is a two-time MVP. He is a make sure I got it right. 8-time All-Star. Okay. I actually said 9. An 8-time All-Star, two-time MVP. Led the league in assists 5 times, but he never won an NBA championship, meaning he never won Finals MVP. So now you have a Canadian-born player that has won an NBA championship, that has won the Finals MVP, that has won the scoring title, and has won league MVP all in the same season. He has also brought eyes to Canadian basketball, and I believe that Canada is going to be Canada or France will win an Olympic medal in the next 2 years, in the next two series, or what's it in 2028 or 2032? I expect to see France or Canada win a gold medal against the United States because the competition is starting to get pretty crazy. And if he does that, he elevates himself even further. But right now, he is the best player out of Canada to ever have played in the NBA. And the stats speak for itself. Andrew Wiggins, you're a champion. Jamal Murray, you're a champion, but you're not a Finals MVP. You're not an MVP. And if he does get it, you're not a scoring champion. If SGA gets another ring, if he gets another MVP, if he gets another Finals MVP or any more add-ons to this trophy case, he might end up going into one of the top 25, top 20, top 15 players in the league, but he is already in a small era of people in terms of what he did this season. It's one of the greatest NBA seasons ever. For those that have won the scoring title, the league MVP, finals MVP, and obviously won an NBA championship, there are 4 total guys that have done it, and one has done it 4 times. 71 Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. 91 Jordan, 92 Jordan, 96 Jordan, 98 Jordan. So from the 70s to the 90s, only 2 guys did it. Jordan did it 4 times. Kareem did it once. Kareem, Jordan, and in 2000, Shaq was the person that did it. So 2 years after Jordan. For 25 years since the 2000 season, no one has done that feat. So that's the likes of Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, Tim Duncan, Dirk Nowitzki, Dwayne Wade, Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady. These are the guys, Carmelo Anthony. These are the guys from 2000 to 2025 that had opportunities to win a scoring title, win an MVP, and win Finals MVP and won an NBA championship all in the same season and did not do it. So now he's one of 4 that has. It's too early to have the conversation of if he's one of the best of all time because his career has not done that yet. He's the best player in Canada, and the other side of it that I would argue, he is the best Thunder player that has ever played for Oklahoma City. In 6 seasons, 6 or 7, I'm going to say 6. In 6 seasons with the Oklahoma City Thunder, he's done more than Kevin Durant did in 9 seasons, along with Russell Westbrook and James Harden. He won 4 NBA Finals games versus Durant, Westbrook, and Harden only having 1 at that time. He won league MVP. He won Finals MVP, a scoring title, and league MVP, and became a champion in 6 years versus 9 with Kevin Durant. He's the best Thunder player that's ever existed for the franchise. You can't argue it. And if you want to, there's not much you can give me to try. You can talk about Durant, his scoring titles, and all the stuff he did against LeBron James. At the end of the day, SGA earns the title of the number 1 Canadian and number one player on the Thunder in history. We'll see where he lands on his all-time performance. One of the things I said was whatever ends up coming from this between Haliburton and SGA, what made me a little bit, I don't want to say sad, but that's the truth. It's just somebody was going to walk away from that having a situation in which one person was going to be 1-0 and the other person was going to be 0-1. And the one that had the 0-1 was going to have the harder career trajectory. Because SGA, for everything he did this season, that 1 would have followed him everywhere. 3-1, 4-1, 5-1. You weren't 6-0. You weren't 5-0. You weren't 4-0. So now he has the championship DNA to really make a run with this team. And I think they're going to get better as long as they mentally focus. Because right now, that is the thing I see that they lack, is a little bit of an emotional maturity to come back and do it again next year. I can see them letting off the gas and not playing as hard unless they find a way to regroup and really want it. I can see a little bit of nonchalant attitude in some of the players, and then also contractually, I know that those rookie contracts are coming up. I know Chet's going to have to get paid. I know Jalen Williams is going to have to get paid. And let's be honest, J-Dub did get an all-NBA third team, and he did just win an NBA championship, and he did drop 40 in there. He might have got an MVP vote for the Finals MVP, right? Chet had some key blocks down the stretch and had a couple double-doubles throughout the playoffs here and there. So he definitely had a case to make some payment to get paid also. Like, we might have a window of another 2 or 3 years before this closes, and we got to see if we got a dynasty here. And what I want so bad as I close this video out, everybody was so doubtful on Oklahoma City winning this title. The first one is the hardest one. But once you get past that, now you know you can get more. What I want desperately is for Oklahoma City to go and be the 2025-2026 NBA champions. Because at that point, Everything y'all saying now about, oh, it's not deserved, he's a foul merchant, this is bad for basketball, it's a bad brand. They're still the champs, and you got to deal with it for at least another year. And I don't think that this team is going to stop coming. I think their defense, I think they know what they can get away with and what they can't. Now they have a coach that has, he's dealt with it through an entire season. These guys played over 105 games this year. Or sorry, yeah, 84 wins. So yeah, y'all play. Whoo, that's a lot of basketball. That's a lot of basketball. 82, 16 is 82 plus 23 is 105 games. Whoo, that's a lot of hooping. That's a lot of hooping. And it really feels bad for the Pacers because they played the same amount of games and walked out with nothing. So playing 105 games to walk it out with a I should have is tough. But I want to see nothing more than the 2025 2026 NBA champions to be the Oklahoma City Thunder. Lot to unpack in this video. Thank y'all for watching this all the way through. This is Scale Sports. We're almost full with signing off for the NBA this season. We got the draft coming up later this week. A couple more conversations we're going to have talking about SGA and just breaking down what all this stuff means in terms of him being the best from Canada, turning to being the best Thunder. A lot of different conversations we're going to continue to have about this throughout the off season. So thank y'all again for watching this through. Like, comment, share, subscribe if there's anything that y'all want to talk about, have a deeper discussion on. Appreciate y'all out there. Thunder Twitter, I appreciate y'all for having my back as I went through them replies today and almost got a little bit killed. But some of y'all picked it up and got me some defense. I greatly appreciate that. Have a safe time at the parade for anybody that's going out there on Tuesday. Won't be able to make it, but I will make sure that I am there for the banner celebration, dropping the banner, and the ring presentation for the first game coming in October. I'm gonna make it a point to be there, hella high water. Shout out to everybody that shout out to all the Thunder fans out there, man. I know they're coming from far and wide. I know some people hate us, some people love us. But you know what? We all came together and went through the ups and downs of this season. Some tense moments, some moments where we wanted to throw ourselves at the TV, but we got through it. Congratulations to the champions. Thank y'all to Sam Presti, Clay, the entire team, SGR MVP. Um, really made it an exciting season and proud to be able to defend y'all for another year as the defending champs. So, signing off, this is Scale Sports. Appreciate y'all coming on now to watch. Until next year.